The bullet missed Emma Rose Whitfield's head by 3 inches. She ran through the blizzard, 8 years old and barely 4 feet tall, her father's oversized coat dragging in the snow. Behind her, 3 men with rifles closed the distance. Her lungs burned. Her legs screamed. She couldn't feel her fingers anymore. "There's nowhere to run, little girl." Cole Brennan's voice cut through the wind. Emma stumbled, fell face first into a snowdrift. This was it. This was how she died. Then something massive and white emerged from the storm. The wolf stood between Emma and the armed men, 50 pounds of muscle and fury, its coat pure as fresh snow, its yellow eyes fixed on the threats. Cole raised his rifle, finger on the trigger. But this story didn't begin here. It began 6 months earlier with a dying animal and a girl who'd already lost everything. Leave a like and share your thoughts in the comments along with the city you're watching. From now, let's continue with the story. 6 months earlier, Emma Rose Whitfield had stopped speaking. Not completely. She could speak. The doctors confirmed her vocal cords worked fine. She simply chose silence. What was there to say when everyone you loved disappeared? Her mother, Grace, had died 2 years ago. Breast cancer. Emma was 6 when she watched her mother fade away in a hospital bed that smelled like disinfectant and death. Grace's last words, "Love isn't about how much time you have, sweetheart. It's about what you do with the time you've got." Her father, David, died 6 months ago. Accident, they called it. Forest ranger, experienced driver. Somehow drove off a cliff on a road he'd traveled 1,000 times. The sheriff said, "Brake failure." Emma heard the neighbors whispering other theories. Now she lived with Nathan Whitfield in a cabin 40 miles from the nearest town, Rocky Mountains, Montana. Elevation 7,500 feet, winter temperatures that dropped to 30 below, snow that buried cars and swallowed sound. Nathan was 68, a retired Marine with shoulders still broad and hands still steady. He'd raised Emma's father after David's mother died, after David's biological father abandoned them both. Nathan wasn't Emma's blood grandfather, but he was the only grandfather she'd ever known. The cabin sat surrounded by 2,000 acres of national forest, 2 bedrooms, wood stove, no cell signal, solar panels that barely worked in winter. The nearest neighbor was Sarah Chin, 3 miles away through dense pine forest. Nathan tried his best. He cooked meals Emma barely touched. He asked questions she answered with nods or head shakes. He pretended not to notice when she cried silently in her room, clutching her mother's red scarf and her father's ranger jacket. He lived on $847 a month. Social Security and VA disability combined. The cabin was paid off, David's last gift before death. But food cost money. Propane cost money. The medicine Nathan took for his heart cost $237 a month. Money he often didn't spend because Emma needed winter boots or the generator needed repair. Emma knew they were poor. She saw Nathan count pennies at the kitchen table. She heard him on the phone with bill collectors, his voice tight with shame. She watched him eat less so she could eat more. She tried to be good. She cooked when she could reach the stove. She cleaned without being asked. She never complained about the cold or the dark or the loneliness that pressed against the cabin walls like snow against windows. Nathan taught her survival skills, how to start a fire, how to read animal tracks, how to find north by the stars. "Just in case," he said, though neither of them said in case of what. He also taught her that wolves were dangerous. You see a wolf, you run. You can't run. You make yourself big and loud. You shoot only if you must. Emma had never seen a wolf until the day she found one dying in the snow. July brought brief warmth to the mountains, melting snow into mud and exposing forest trails Emma hadn't walked since her father died. Nathan sent her to gather firewood, busy hands, he believed, kept sad thoughts at bay. She found the blood first, red on white snow, a trail leading deeper into the forest. Emma knew she should turn back. Nathan's rules were clear: stay close to the cabin, never wander alone, never follow unknown tracks. But something pulled her forward. Maybe curiosity. Maybe the memory of her father, who'd spent his life helping injured animals. Maybe just the desperate need to save something when she couldn't save anyone who mattered. The wolf lay in a shallow ravine, half buried in a late-season snowdrift. Emma had never seen anything like it. Pure white, massive, easily 150 pounds, with fur thick as a winter coat and paws the size of her hands. 3 wounds bled into the snow shoulder, hind leg, and a graze across the neck. Bullet wounds? The wolf's eyes opened, yellow, intelligent, watching her with an expression that wasn't quite animal. It should have growled, should have lunged. Instead, it just watched, breath coming in shallow gasps. Emma thought of her father's German shepherd, Rex, who died in the same accident. Thought of her father's words, judge creatures by their actions, not their reputation. She made a choice. The run back to the cabin took 15 minutes. Nathan was chopping wood, his back to her. Emma slipped inside, grabbed the first aid kit from under the bathroom sink, stuffed a blanket and water bottle into her backpack. She took 3 cans of soup and the leftover roast beef from dinner. Nathan's antibiotic pills, he kept them for emergencies, went into her pocket. The old trapper's shack sat abandoned 100 yards past the ravine, barely standing, roof half collapsed. But it had walls and shelter from wind. Emma had discovered it months ago, never told Nathan about it. Her secret place? Getting the wolf there nearly killed them both. The animal was too heavy to carry, too weak to walk far. Emma half dragged, half coaxed it through the forest, leaving a trail of blood and wolf fur. The wolf whimpered, but didn't bite, didn't fight. Just let this small human save its life. Inside the shack, Emma worked with the hands that trembled. She cleaned wounds with water, applied antibiotic ointment, wrapped bandages round the wolf's leg. The shoulder wound was deep, still bleeding. Emma used her mother's red scarf as extra bandaging, tying it tight. The wolf let her work, never snapped, never even growled. When she finished, Emma sat back against the wall. The wolf watched her. She watched it back. "I'll call you Ghost," she whispered. First word she'd spoken in weeks. "Because you're white and quiet." Ghost closed his eyes. Emma returned every day for 2 weeks, dawn and dusk, when Nathan napped or worked outside. She brought food meat from the freezer, carefully rationed so Nathan wouldn't notice. She changed bandages. She talked to Ghost, words flowing easier than they had since her mother died. "My mom used to make pancakes, she always burned them." Emma cleaned Ghost's shoulder wound. "Dad said he liked them burned. I think he was lying to make her feel better." Ghost's ear twitched. "I miss them. Both of them." Emma's voice cracked. "Do you miss anyone?" Ghost looked at her with those strange yellow eyes, and Emma could have sworn she saw understanding there. But Nathan noticed everything. Food disappearing, first aid supplies depleted. Emma's mood lifting, she hummed while washing dishes, smiled at nothing. Strange tracks around the cabin perimeter. On the 14th day, Nathan followed her. Emma didn't hear him approach the shack, didn't know he was there until he kicked the door open, rifle raised, face harder than she'd ever seen it. Ghost struggled to stand, growling despite weakness. Emma threw herself between them. "No!" The word exploded from her. "Grandpa, please, he's hurt." Nathan's finger rested on the trigger. The rifle barrel pointed at Ghost's head. Unwavering, Marine training, decades old, made his aim perfect, even at 68. "Emma, move, now. He saved me." A lie. But Emma's mind worked fast. "From a bear. He protected me and got hurt, and I couldn't just leave him. That's a wolf. Wolves are dangerous." "He's not dangerous. Look at him." Nathan did look, saw a wolf that should have attacked, should have defended itself, but instead stood on 3 legs, the 4th clearly injured, positioning itself between the girl and perceived threat, protective, deliberate. "Please." Emma's voice broke. "Everyone I love dies. Don't make me watch another one die. Please. Grandpa." The rifle wavered. Nathan had fought in Vietnam, had killed men, had watched friends die, had learned that survival meant hard choices and harder hearts. But he'd never been able to say no to a child's tears, especially not Emma's. He lowered the rifle, slightly. 3 days? He said. Wolf stays alive for 3 days without attacking anyone. 3 days of good behavior, then we decide, he'll be good, I promise. You can't promise for a wild animal, Emma. I can promise for Ghost. 'Cause Nathan's jaw tightened at the name she'd named it, which meant she'd bonded with it. But he didn't argue. He helped Emma move Ghost to the cabin's storage shed, a warmer space with actual walls. He examined the wounds with practiced efficiency. "Someone shot him," Nathan said. "Recently. Good shots, too. Whoever did this knew how to hunt. Who would shoot a wolf? People who shouldn't." Nathan's face darkened. "People your father was tracking before he died." Emma's breath caught. "What people?" "Poachers. Trophy hunters. Your dad thought they were working these mountains, killing protected animals. He was investigating." Nathan paused. "I didn't believe him. Thought he was being too paranoid." And now Nathan looked at Ghost, then at Emma. "Now I'm not so sure." That night, Ghost slept in the shed while Nathan sat guard with his rifle. Emma couldn't sleep. Fear, keeping her wide awake. What if Ghost attacked in the night? What if Nathan shot him? But morning came with no gunshots. Nathan was asleep in his chair, rifle across his lap. Inside the shed, Ghost lay quietly, watching Emma through the window. Day 1 passed, then day 2. On day 3, everything changed. 3 months after Ghost became part of their family, the strangers came. Emma heard the engine first, a sound so rare in these isolated mountains that it pulled her attention from her schoolwork immediately. She looked up from the kitchen table where Nathan had her practicing multiplication and saw him already at the window, rifle in hand, a black SUV, expensive and out of place, crawled up the dirt road toward their cabin. 3 men emerged wearing gear that cost more than Nathan's entire year of pension. The leader was tall, mid-30s, with dark hair and eyes that never smiled, even when his mouth did. Nathan stepped onto the porch. "Help your gentleman," the leader approached with an extended hand. "Cole Brennan, these are my associates. Garrett Hayes and Marcus Webb. We're friends of David Whitfield. Heard about his passing. Wanted to pay our respects." So Nathan didn't take the offered hand. "Don't remember David mentioning you. We worked together. Wildlife management." Cole's smile widened, but remained cold. "Mind if we come in long drive from town?" "Actually, I do mind." Inside the cabin tube, Ghost began growling a low, continuous rumble Emma had never heard before. She grabbed his collar, holding him back, her small hands barely able to restrain him. "That's unfortunate," Cole said. We were hoping to discuss David's work, his research, his belongings. His belongings burned in a fire." Nathan's lie came smooth. Nothing left. Cole's eyes narrowed. All of it. All of it. The brutal-looking one, Garrett, shifted his weight. His jacket opened slightly, revealing a shoulder holster. Nathan saw it. His grip tightened on the rifle. "Well then," Cole stepped back. "Guess we wasted a trip. But if you remember anything, find anything, we'd be happy to compensate you generously." They left, but Nathan watched until the SUV disappeared. Then he watched the tree line for another hour. "Emma," he said finally, "get Ghost. We're staying inside tonight." That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. Something about those men triggered memories of Vietnam, the smell of danger, the weight of invisible threats. He'd learned to trust his instincts 50 years ago. Those instincts were screaming now. He thought about David's last words in the hospital right before dying. Nathan had assumed delirium, morphine scrambling his son's brain, but now those words echoed differently. "The wolf!" David had gasped. "Protect Emma. Wolf knows. Wolf remembers." Nathan had dismissed it. But what if it wasn't nonsense? He found Emma asleep with Ghost beside her bed. Nathan knelt carefully and examined Ghost in the moonlight. The wolf was unusual, too large, too white, too intelligent, and something else. Nathan's fingers found it buried in thick neck fur, a collar, old, weathered, nearly invisible, heavy-duty material, no tags. He worked it free. Inside the lining, protected by waterproof casing, Nathan found a USB drive. In his bedroom, Nathan plugged the drive into his old laptop. The screen filled with folders. He clicked the first video. David's face appeared, gaunt and worried. The date stamp read 6 months before his death. "Nathan, if you're watching this, I'm gone. You need to know the truth." Nathan's hands shook. "I've been investigating an operation in these mountains. Illegal trophy hunting of protected species, wolves, bears, eagles. But it's bigger than simple poaching. There's serious money involved. Millions. They're selling to wealthy collectors worldwide. Foreign buyers who'll pay anything for rare pelts and live animals." David leaned closer to the camera. "The wolf I gave you, Ghost, he's one of their target animals. Pure white Arctic wolves are extremely rare, worth a fortune. I found him shot, left to die. I saved him, hid him, trained him to protect Emma if anything happened to me." Nathan's chest tightened. "The man running this operation is Cole Brennan. He's dangerous, Nathan, ruthless, and he knows I have evidence. He's threatened me, said if I go public, Emma pays the price. David's voice cracked. So I'm not going public. I'm hiding the evidence with Ghost. If I die, it won't be an accident. It'll be Cole. The video ended. Nathan opened the documents. Bank statements showing millions in illegal transactions. Photos of dead wolves, their magnificent pelts removed. Lists of buyers, wealthy collectors, foreign dignitaries, private zoos, and detailed records of David's investigation. The final document made Nathan's blood run cold. A private investigator's report on David's truck accident. Brake lines cut, steering cables severed, accelerator jammed, murder staged as mechanical failure. Nathan's vision blurred. His boy, his son, murdered for trying to stop criminals. The last video showed David holding Emma as a toddler. Nathan, I know this is overwhelming, but Emma's in danger. Cole will come for Ghost eventually. When he does, he'll eliminate witnesses. You need to protect her. Get her away from the cabin. Go to state police, not local sheriff. He's bought. Show them this evidence. David kissed Emma's head in the video. I'm sorry to put this on you, but you're the only one I trust. Take care of my girl. And Nathan Ghost isn't just any wolf. He's been trained specifically to protect Emma. Trust him. He'll die before he lets anyone hurt her. Nathan sat in darkness while Emma slept in the next room. He should run, pack tonight, take Emma somewhere safe. But where Cole had money, connections, reach, and Nathan had $94 in his bank account, a failing heart, and an 8-year-old child who'd lost too much already. Running wasn't an option. Fighting was all that remained. Over the next 48 hours, Nathan transformed the cabin into a fortress. He boarded windows, reinforced doors, set up basic perimeter alarms using tripwires connected to bells. He showed Emma the hidden tunnel from the storm cellar to the forest, packed a bug-out bag with essentials, and he taught her to shoot. You're 8 years old, Nathan said, placing his pistol in her small hands. You shouldn't need this. But should and is are different words. Emma proved a natural shot, David's daughter indeed. Her hands were steady, her eyes focused, her respect for the weapon absolute. Nathan radioed Sarah Chen, if you hear gunshots, call state police, not Sheriff Pike, state police only. Nathan, what's going on? Can't explain now. Just promise me. Sarah promised. Ghost behavior changed dramatically. He patrolled constantly, refused to leave Emma's side, growled at empty forest. One morning, Nathan found blood on Ghost's muzzle, not his own. Later, Nathan discovered a surveillance camera destroyed 200 yards from the cabin, torn apart by powerful jaws. Ghost was hunting the hunters. The financial reality crashed down simultaneously. Nathan opened bills he'd been avoiding. Electric $800 for winter heating. Propane $300. Bank balance $94. Pension wouldn't come for 2 weeks. His heart medication, $247 for a month's supply, had run out 3 days ago. Nathan made his choice, food or medicine, Emma or himself. He chose Emma. The first chest pain hit while chopping wood, sharp, spreading across his left arm. Nathan sat down hard, breathing through it. When it passed, he made peace with his decision. That night, alone in his room, Nathan wrote a letter to Emma, just in case. He folded it, tucked it in his shirt pocket over his heart. The next evening, Emma asked quietly. "Are we going to die, Grandpa?" Nathan looked at this small girl who'd lost her mother, lost her father, and now faced men who wanted to kill her for witnessing a wolf's rescue. "Not if I can help it, little one." "Daddy said that too." The words hit like a bullet. Nathan paused, then pulled Emma close, the first real hug since David's death. "Your daddy was a better man than me, but I promise you, Emma, I won't let them hurt you." Emma's arms went around his waist. "I love you." "Grandpa?" Nathan's throat closed. "I love you too, sweetheart." Ghost placed his paw on both of them. Pack, family, together. 2 nights later, someone knocked at 2 in the morning. Nathan answered with rifle raised. Marcus Webb stood alone on the porch, hands empty and raised high. "I'm not here to fight," Marcus said quickly. "Give me one reason not to shoot." "Because I'm David's brother." Nathan's finger froze on the trigger. "Explain, fast." "Same father, Cole Brennan, different mothers. Cole abandoned my mother when I was 5. David's mother left Cole when David was 7. We never knew each other. Different last names, different lives." Little Marcus's voice shook. "I only found out 2 days ago. Saw Emma. She has our family birthmark, Port Wine stain, on the right shoulder blade. David had it. I have it. Why should I trust you?" "You shouldn't. But Emma's my niece, my blood, only family I got left, and Cole killed David. I heard him bragging about it to Garrett." Nathan studied Marcus, the same eyes as David, the same jaw. He lowered the rifle slightly. "What's Cole planning?" "Full assault, 2 days from now. 6 men total, night vision, thermal scopes. Plans to kill you, kill Emma, take the wolf, burn the cabin to you, make it look like an accident." Nathan's world tilted. "Sheriff, bought, 10,000 a month. State police, 50 miles away, won't arrive in time." Nathan sat heavily, 68 years old, heart failing, without medicine, 1 rifle, 1 child to protect. Marcus sat beside him. "I can help. I know Cole's tactics." Emma appeared in the doorway, Ghost at her side. She looked at Marcus for a long moment. "You're my uncle." Marcus's eyes filled. "Yeah, kid, I'm your uncle. Did you know my daddy?" "No, but I wish I had." Ghost approached Marcus, sniffed thoroughly. Then Abaddon placed his paw on Marcus's knee. "If Ghost trusts him," Emma said quietly. "I trust him." 3 months after Ghost arrived, the strangers came. Emma heard the engine, first unusual in these mountains where few vehicles ventured. She looked up from her schoolwork, homeschooled, at the kitchen table, and saw Nathan already at the window, rifle in hand. A black SUV pulled up to the cabin. 3 men emerged, dressed in expensive outdoor gear that marked them as outsiders. The leader was tall, mid-40s, with cold eyes and a smile that never reached them. The other 2 flanked him like soldiers. Nathan stepped onto the porch. "Help your gentleman." The leader approached, hand extended. "Cole Brennan, these are my associates, Garrett Hayes and Marcus Webb. We're friends of David Whitfield, heard about his passing, wanted to pay our respects." Nathan didn't take the hand. "Don't remember David mentioning you. We worked together, wildlife management." Cole's smile widened. "Mind if we come in long drive from town?" "Actually, I do mind." The tension crackled like static. Ghost, and inside the cabin, began growling a low, continuous rumble Emma had never heard before. She grabbed his collar, holding him back. "That's a shame," Cole said. We were hoping to discuss David's work, his research, his belongings. His belongings burned in a fire. Nathan's lie came smooth and quick. Nothing left. Cole's eyes narrowed. All of it, all of it. Garrett, the brutal-looking one, shifted his weight. His jacket opened slightly, revealing a shoulder holster. Nathan saw it. His grip tightened on the rifle. Well then, Cole stepped back. Guess we wasted a trip. But if you remember anything, find anything, we'd be happy to take it off your hands for the right price. They left, but Nathan watched their SUV until it disappeared down the mountain road. Then he watched the tree line for another hour. "Emma," he said finally, "get Ghost. We're going inside." That night, Nathan couldn't sleep. Something about those men triggered memories. Vietnam. The smell of danger, the weight of invisible threats. He'd learned to trust his instincts. Those instincts were screaming now. He thought about David's last words in the hospital right before he died. Nathan had assumed delirium, painkillers scrambling his son's brain. But now, the wolf, David had gasped. Protect Emma. Wolf knows. Wolf remembers. Nathan had dismissed it. David was dying, speaking nonsense. But what if it wasn't nonsense? He found Emma asleep with Ghost beside her bed, the wolf's head resting on her mattress. Nathan knelt, careful not to wake either of them, and examined Ghost in the moonlight streaming through the window. The wolf was unusual, too large, too white, too intelligent, and something else. Nathan's fingers found it buried in thick neck fur, a collar, old, weathered, nearly invisible against white fur. He worked it free, heavy-duty nylon, military grade, no tags, but inside the lining, protected by waterproof material. Nathan found a USB drive in his bedroom. Nathan plugged the drive into his old laptop, the screen filled with folders, videos, documents, photos. He clicked the first video. David's face appeared, gaunt and worried. The timestamp read 6 months before his death. "Nathan, if you're watching this, I'm gone. You need to know the truth." Nathan's hands shook. "I've been investigating an operation in these mountains. Not simple poaching, something bigger. There's a group, heavily funded, hunting wolves for an illegal breeding program. They're creating wolf-dog hybrids, selling them to private military contractors as guard animals. The profits are enormous, millions." David leaned closer to the camera. "The wolf I gave you, Ghost, he's one of their animals. Escaped during transport. I found him shot, left to die. I saved him, hid him, trained him to protect Emma if anything happened to me." Nathan's chest tightened. "The man running this operation is named Cole Brennan. He's dangerous, Nathan, and he knows I have evidence. He's threatened me, said if I go public, Emma pays the price." David's voice cracked. "So I'm not going public. I'm hiding the evidence with Ghost. If I die, it won't be an accident. It'll be Cole." The video ended. Nathan opened the documents, bank statements, showing millions in transactions, photos of dead wolves, their pelts removed, lists of buyers, wealthy collectors, foreign militaries, criminal organizations, and a detailed record of David's investigation. The final document was a coroner's report, not official. David had paid a private investigator to examine his truck after the accident. Brake lines cut, steering cables severed, accelerator jammed, murder, staged as mechanical failure. Nathan's vision blurred. His boy, his son, murdered. He opened the last video, David again, this time holding Emma as a toddler. Nathan, I know this is a lot, but Emma's in danger. Cole will come for Ghost eventually. When he does, he'll eliminate witnesses. You need to protect her, get her away from the cabin, go to the state police, not local sheriff. He's bought. Show them this evidence. David kissed Emma's head in the video. I'm sorry to put this on you, but you're the only one I trust. Take care of my girl. And Nathan Ghost isn't just a wolf. He's been trained to protect Emma specifically. Trust him. He'll die before he lets anyone hurt her. The video ended. Nathan sat in darkness, rifle across his lap, while Emma slept in the next room. He should run, pack up tonight. Take Emma somewhere safe, but where Cole had money, connections, reach, and Nathan had $94 in his bank account, a failing heart, and an 8-year-old child who'd lost too much already. Running wasn't an option. Fighting was all that remained. Over the next 48 hours, Nathan fortified the cabin. He boarded windows, reinforced doors, set up basic perimeter alarms, tripwires connected to bells. He taught Emma emergency protocols, showed her the hidden tunnel from the storm cellar to the forest, packed a bug-out bag with essentials, and he taught her to shoot. You're 8 years old, Nathan said, placing his pistol in her small hands. You shouldn't need this, but should and is are different words. Emma proved a natural shot, David's daughter indeed. Nathan radioed Sarah Chen, their neighbor. If you hear gunshots, call state police, not Sheriff Pike. State police only. Nathan, what's going on? Can't explain now. Just promise me. Sarah promised. Ghost's behavior changed too. He patrolled constantly, refused to leave Emma's side, growled at empty forest. One morning, Nathan found blood on Ghost's muzzle, not his own. Later that day, Nathan discovered a surveillance camera destroyed 200 yards from the cabin, torn apart by something with powerful jaws. Ghost was hunting them before they could hunt Emma. The financial reality crashed down simultaneously. Nathan opened bills he'd been avoiding, electric 8 horsepower, 300. His bank balance, 94. His pension wouldn't come for 2 weeks, and his heart medication tools for a month's supply had run out 3 days ago. He felt the first chest pain while chopping wood, sharp, spreading across his left arm. Nathan sat down hard, breathing through it. When it passed, he made a decision. Food or medicine, Emma or himself. He chose Emma that night, alone in his room. Nathan wrote a letter to Emma, just in case. He folded it, tucked it in his shirt pocket over his heart. On the 3rd night, someone knocked. Nathan answered with rifle raised. A single man stood on the porch, Marcus Webb, the nervous one from Cole's group. His hands were up, empty. I'm not here to fight, Marcus said quickly. Give me one reason not to shoot. Because I'm David's brother. Nathan's finger froze on the trigger. Marcus explained fast, same father Cole Brennan, different mothers. Marcus's mother divorced Cole when Marcus was 5. David's mother took Nathan's name when Cole abandoned them. The brothers never knew each other, raised separately, different lives. I only found out when I saw Emma, Marcus said. She has our family's birthmark. Right shoulder blade. David had it. I have it. He pulled his shirt aside, showing a distinctive port wine stain. I didn't know Cole killed David until 2 days ago. Overheard him bragging to Garrett. Why should I trust you? You shouldn't. Marcus lowered his hands. But Emma's my niece, My blood, only family I got left. Nathan studied him, the same eyes as David, the same jawline. He lowered the rifle slightly. What's Cole planning? Full assault, day after tomorrow. 6 men total. He's bringing equipment, night vision, thermal scopes. Plans to kill you? Kill Emma? Take Ghost? Burn the cabin? Make it look like an accident? Fire, maybe. Remote location. No witnesses. Nathan's blood ran cold. Sheriff, bought and paid. $10,000 a month. State police? 50 miles away. Won't arrive in time, even if called. Nathan sat heavily on the porch steps. 68 years old, heart failing, 1 rifle, 1 child to protect. Marcus sat beside him. I can help. I know Cole's tactics, his equipment, his timing. You're one man, better than no men. Emma appeared in the doorway, Ghost at her side. She looked at Marcus for a long moment. You're my uncle, she asked. Marcus's eyes filled. Yeah, kid, I'm your uncle. Did you know my daddy? No. Marcus's voice broke. But I wish I had. Ghost approached Marcus, sniffed him thoroughly. To Nathan's shock, Ghost sat and placed his paw on Marcus's knee. Acceptance. If Ghost trusts him, Emma said quietly. I trust him. That night, the 3 of them, Nathan, Marcus, and Emma, planned not an escape, a defense. Marcus drew diagrams of Cole's likely approach. He'll hit at dawn, low light, you're probably sleeping, 2-man teams, 3 points of entry, front door, back door, and they'll breach the cellar entrance. Cellar has the tunnel, Nathan said. They might not know about it. That's our advantage. They practiced. Emma memorized hand signals. Nathan positioned weapons strategically, rifle by the front door, shotgun by his bedroom, pistol in the kitchen. Marcus showed Emma how to use the radio, how to call for help. But everyone knew help wouldn't arrive in time. When they come, Marcus said to Emma, you go down that tunnel, sure? You run to Sarah's house. You don't look back. I won't leave Grandpa, Emma. Everyone I love dies while I run away. Emma's voice was steel. Not anymore. Nathan started to argue, but the pain hit sharp, crushing, radiating down his arm. He gasped, clutched his chest. The room spun. Nathan, Marcus caught him before he fell. Heart, Nathan managed. Medicine, out. Marcus laid him on the couch. Emma brought water. The pain gradually subsided, leaving Nathan weak and sweating. You need a hospital, Marcus said. No time. Cole comes tomorrow. You'll die. Then I die protecting her. Nathan looked at Emma. Same as David would have done. Marcus checked Nathan's pulse. Rapid, irregular. How long since your medication? Of 4 days? Jesus. Nathan couldn't afford it. Needed food for Emma. The room fell silent. Emma stared at her grandfather, understanding dawning. All those times he ate less. All those bills he ignored, all to keep her fed, warm, safe. I have money, Marcus said. 8,000 saved, not much, but won't help now. Nathan interrupted. No pharmacies open, no time to get to town. We make do with what we have. That night, Emma couldn't sleep. She found Nathan at the kitchen table, staring at nothing. Grandpa? He looked up and tried to smile. Can't sleep either. Emma sat in his lap, something she hadn't done since she was small. I keep thinking about Mommy and Daddy. Tell me about them. So Emma talked. About Grace's terrible pancakes, about David teaching her to fish. catching bigger fish than him and his exaggerated outrage about camping trips and laughter and feeling safe. Mommy's last words were about love, Emma said. She said it's not about time, it's about what you do with the time you have. Nathan's arms tightened around her. Daddy's last words were about the wolf, about protecting me. He said the wolf knows. Emma looked up at Nathan. Ghost was from Daddy, wasn't he? Like a gift? Nathan nodded, unable to speak. Then I won't let anyone take him. He's all I have left from Daddy. You have me, Nathan whispered. I know. Emma hugged him. That's why we're staying together, because all of us, you, me, Ghost, Uncle Marcus, we're family now. Nathan gave her his dog tags from Vietnam. These kept me alive 50 years. Maybe they'll keep you alive, too. Emma gave him her mother's red scarf. So Mommy can protect you. They sat together until dawn began to gray the windows. Ghost lay at their feet, ears alert, sensing the danger coming. Somewhere out there, Cole Brennan was loading weapons, gathering men, preparing to kill a little girl and everyone who protected her. But inside the cabin, Emma Rose Whitfield, 8 years old, orphaned twice, bearing more scars than any child should carry, made a choice. She would not run. She would not hide. She would fight. And she wouldn't fight alone. Dawn came gray and bitter. Temperature at 4 in the morning, negative 28 degrees Fahrenheit. Wind howling at 40 miles per hour. Perfect conditions for an assault, visibility near zero. Sound swallowed by wind. Tracks erased by blowing snow within minutes. Nathan hadn't slept, neither had Emma. They sat in the storm cellar beneath the cabin, flashlight casting shadows on earthen walls. Ghost lay between them, ears rotating like radar dishes, tracking sounds humans couldn't hear. Marcus had left an hour ago, positioning himself in the forest where he could watch the approach roads, the planned radio warning when Cole's team arrived, then sabotage their vehicles while they were inside the cabin. It was a terrible plan. Nathan knew it. Marcus knew it. But terrible plans were all they had. At 4:47 a.m., the motion sensors triggered. Nathan heard the bells faint, distant, 3 different locations. His face went hard. 6 men, just like Marcus said. Emma gripped Ghost's fur. The wolf's body had gone rigid. A growl building deep in his chest. Remember the plan, Nathan whispered. They breach the cabin, we wait. When I say run, you take Ghost through the tunnel. No arguments, no looking back. Grandpa, promise me, Emma. She couldn't promise, wouldn't promise. So she said nothing. At 5:02 a.m., the generator died. Someone had cut the power. The cabin went dark above them. Nathan heard boots on the porch, careful, measured, professional. These weren't amateur poachers. These were trained men executing a military operation. Then came the flashbang. Even in the cellar, the blast was deafening. Emma clamped her hands over her ears, crying out. Ghost's howl mixed with the concussion. The cabin door exploded inward. Nathan heard it splinter, heard boots thundering across the floor above. Clear! A voice shouted. Clear! Another voice. Different location. Clear! A third. They were searching room by room. Professional clearing tactics. Nathan counted voices. 4 men inside, probably 2 outside watching perimeter. Where was Marcus? He should have been inside the cabin ready to turn on them when they entered. But Marcus wasn't there. Nathan's stomach dropped. Betrayal. Had Marcus lied about everything? Cole, one of the men above. Nobody's here. Place is empty. Check everything. Cole's voice, cold and controlled. They didn't just vanish. Emma looked at Nathan with wide, terrified eyes. He put a finger to his lips. Ghost's growl had gone silent, but every muscle in the wolf's body was coiled for violence. Footsteps directly overhead. Someone walking slowly through the kitchen, then stopping. "Found something?" Garrett's voice. "Cellar door." Nathan's blood turned to ice. "Well, well," Cole said. "Nathan Whitfield, you predictable old fool." The cellar door flew open. Light flooded down, flashlight beams sweeping the darkness. Nathan raised his shotgun, but 4 rifles already had him targeted. "Drop it," Cole commanded, "or we shoot through the girl to get to you." Nathan's hands shook. Military training said take the shot better to die fighting. But Emma was behind him, Ghost beside her. If he started shooting, they'd all die in a crossfire. He lowered the shotgun. "Good choice." Cole descended the stairs, rifle aimed at Nathan's head. "Now where's my wolf?" "Not yours," Emma said, her voice small but fierce. Cole's eyes found her in the shadows. "Emma, sweet little Emma, you look just like your father." Same stubborn eyes. David wouldn't listen either. "You killed him." "I removed an obstacle," Cole smiled. "Business decision. Nothing personal." "Everything about murder is personal," Nathan growled. Cole ignored him. "The wolf. Hand him over, and I'll make your deaths quick. Painless. Refuse, and I'll make the girl watch you die slowly." Ghost snarled, a sound like tearing metal. "Nathan?" Marcus's voice crackled over the radio on Nathan's belt. "Run, now. I've got their vehicles. Get Emma out." Not betrayal. Marcus had stuck to the plan. Now. Nathan shoved Emma toward the tunnel entrance, hidden behind a false wall. "Go!" Emma grabbed Ghost and ran. Nathan opened up with the shotgun, firing blindly upward, buying seconds. Cole's men scattered, returning fire. Bullets punched through wooden stairs, stitched across earthen walls. Nathan felt something burn across his ribs, a bullet grazing him. He kept firing until the shotgun clicked empty. Then he dove through the tunnel entrance after Emma, pulling the concealed door shut behind him. The tunnel was narrow, barely 3 feet high. Emma crawled fast with Ghost beside her, Nathan gasping behind them. His chest hurt not from the bullet graze, but from his heart, squeezing like a fist closing. Behind them, Cole's men discovered the tunnel. Flashlight beams probed the darkness. "They're running." The tunnel exit opened 150 yards into the forest. Emma emerged first, then Ghost, then Nathan. The blizzard hit them like a frozen wall. Wind screaming, snow horizontal, visibility maybe 10 feet. "Which way?" Emma shouted over the wind. Nathan tried to answer, but pain exploded in his chest. Real pain, heart attack pain. His left arm went numb. The forest tilted sideways. He fell. "Grandpa!" Emma tried to catch him, but he was too heavy. Nathan collapsed face first into the snow. Emma rolled him over. His lips were blue, his breathing shallow and rapid. "Get up," Emma begged. "Please get up." "Emma." Nathan could barely speak. "Take Ghost. Run to Sorrel's." "No, you're coming with me." "I'm dying anyway." "Let me die. Saving you." "You're not dying." Tears froze on Emma's cheeks. She tried to lift him, could not. Tried to drag him, made no progress. Nathan weighed 180 pounds. Emma weighed 60. Ghost watched for a moment. Then he turned and ran into the blizzard. "Ghost!" Emma screamed. "Come back!" But the wolf disappeared into the white. Emma stared after him, betrayal crushing her chest. Everyone leaves. Her mother, her father, now Ghost. Everyone always leaves. Told you, Nathan gasped. Can't trust wild animals. He's not wild. He's... Emma couldn't finish. Couldn't defend a wolf who'd abandoned them. She heard shouts behind them. Cole's men emerging from the tunnel. She looked at Nathan, looked at the approaching hunters, looked at the empty forest where Ghost had vanished. She made a choice. I'm staying, she told Nathan. We die up together, or not at all. Nathan tried to argue but couldn't. The pain was too much. He closed his eyes. 45 minutes later, Ghost returned with Marcus. The man was bloody, limping, but alive. He lifted Nathan onto his shoulders in a fireman's carry and started walking. Emma followed, Ghost leading the way through the blizzard. How did he find you? Emma asked. No idea. Marcus gasped under Nathan's weight. I was sabotaging their trucks, and suddenly this wolf appears, grabs my jacket in his teeth, starts pulling. I followed. They moved toward Sarah's house. 2 miles through hell. Marcus's wounded leg left a blood trail in the snow. But the blizzard covered it within minutes. They might actually make it. Then Garrett stepped out from behind a tree. The blood covered his face from where Ghost had attacked him in the cabin. His rifle was aimed at Marcus. Drop him, Garrett commanded. Marcus lowered Nathan into the snow. 3 more men appeared from different directions. Professional encirclement. Cole emerged last. Rifle pointed at Emma. End of the line, Cole said. Marcus stepped forward, positioning himself between Emma and the guns. Let the girl go. Cole, why would I do that? Because she's 8 years old. She's a witness. Witnesses die. Cole's eyes were dead, emotionless. You getting soft on me, Marcus? You're my son. Act like it. Emma's breath caught. Marcus was Cole's son. I stopped being your son the day you killed David, Marcus said quietly. My real father died before I could meet him, but at least he was a good man. Cole's face twisted. David was weak, just like his mother, just like you're being now. David was brave. There's a difference. Marcus, last chance. Step aside. No. Cole nodded to Garrett. Shoot him. Garrett aimed at Marcus's head, but before he could fire, Ghost launched from beside Emma. 150 pounds of fury hit Garrett, taking him down. The rifle discharged into the air. Garrett screamed as Ghost's jaws clamped on his shoulder, not killing but disabling. Marcus attacked the man closest to him. Hand-to-hand combat, brutal and efficient. He'd been trained by the same man as Cole, knew the same techniques. The fight was vicious. Nathan, barely conscious on the ground, fumbled for his pistol. His fingers were numb, clumsy. He raised the weapon, fired at one of Cole's men. The shot went wide, but it made the man dive for cover. In the chaos, Cole grabbed Emma, his arm locked around her neck, gun pressed to her temple. Everyone froze. The wolf! Cole shouted over the wind. Call him off or I kill her! Ghost had Garrett pinned, jaws at the man's throat. The wolf's eyes found Emma, then Cole. Ghost didn't move. Now. Cole pressed the gun harder. Emma felt the cold metal against her skull. She should be terrified, should be crying. But all she felt was rage. You're my grandfather, she said, cold, certain. Cole's arm tightened. Who told you that? Uncle Marcus. You're David's father. My father's father. So a grandfather wouldn't hurt his granddaughter. Cole's laugh was bitter. Your father was a mistake. His mother was weak. She raised him weak. He grew up thinking he could be a hero, could stand up to me. Cole's breath was hot against Emma's ear. I'm not weak. I'm practical. Your father threatened my business. You're threatening it now. Nothing personal. You keep saying that, Emma said. But murder is always personal. Smart kid, shame, you'll die smart. If you kill me, you prove my father was right. You prove you're a monster. I don't care what people think. Yes, you do. Emma's voice was steady despite the gun. That's why you hated Daddy. Because he was good, because people loved him, because he was everything you weren't. Cole's hand trembled. Shut up. You're not practical. You're jealous. You're weak. That's why you killed people instead of facing them. The gun pressed harder. Cole's finger tightened on the trigger. Ghost released Garrett and stepped forward, slowly, deliberately. Stay back, Cole warned. Ghost kept coming. Cole swung the rifle toward the wolf. I'll shoot. Ghost stopped. Then, to everyone's shock, the wolf lay down, rolled onto his back, exposed his throat and belly, the ultimate submission in wolf hierarchy, surrendering completely. Ghost? No, Emma whispered. The wolf didn't move, just lay there in the snow, offering himself, sacrifice to save his pack. Emma understood. Ghost was giving himself to Cole in exchange for her life. Ancient instinct, older than language, protect the young, even if it costs everything. Smart animal, Cole said, knows when he's beaten. He kept the gun on Emma, but looked at Ghost with satisfaction. He'd won. The wolf was his. The evidence was destroyed in the cabin fire his men had set. The girl would die. Nathan would die. Marcus would die. No witnesses. Then Ghost's eyes flicked past Cole to the woman standing 20 feet away, holding a rifle. Sarah Chen's voice cut through the blizzard like a blade. Cole Brennan, drop your weapon. Sarah Chen was not who she claimed to be. 69 years old. Yes, living alone in the mountains. Yes, but the hunting rifle in her hands was held with professional confidence, and her eyes had the hard edge of someone who'd seen combat. I said, drop it, Cole. Sarah's voice carried authority that made men twice her size obey. Cole's gun remained pressed to Emma's temple. Old woman, you're making a mistake. I'm retired U.S. Marshal Sarah Chen. You're under arrest for murder, conspiracy, and about 24 other federal charges. She raised her voice. State police are 3 minutes out. Helicopters overhead. You're surrounded. As if on cue, the sound of rotor blades cut through the wind. Searchlights swept the forest. Cole's face went white. You've been watching us. For 6 months, since David Whitfield died. Sarah's rifle never wavered. I was investigating Apex Biotech when David contacted me, told me everything. I was supposed to testify with him. Then he turned up dead. That's impossible. You checked for local law enforcement. I'm federal. Been undercover as a lonely widow for 10 years working this case? Sarah smiled grimly. Lonely Widow Act works great. Nobody suspects a little old Asian lady. Cole's arm tightened around Emma. I still have the girl. You shoot her, you die. Maybe you're okay with that. Sarah's eyes were ice. But you shoot her, and everyone knows what you are. Coward, child killer. Your name becomes garbage. Your legacy becomes nothing. My legacy is already nothing thanks to David Whitfield. No, Sarah said. Your legacy is nothing because you chose it. You chose money over family, murder over conscience. You made yourself nothing. I made myself rich and died empty. For a long moment, nobody moved. Wind howled, snow fell, Ghost lay submissive in the snow. Emma stood rigid in Cole's grip. Marcus bled from his leg wound. Nathan lay unconscious. Then Cole's hand trembled. The gun lowered slightly. Marcus moved fast, grabbing Cole's arm, twisting the weapon away. The rifle discharged into the air. Emma broke free, ran to Ghost. State police emerged from the trees, 6 officers, rifles raised. Cole and his men were forced to the ground, cuffed, read their rights. Emma collapsed next to Ghost, burying her face in white fur. "You came back. You didn't leave." Ghost licked her frozen cheeks. But then Emma saw Nathan, still lying in the snow, not moving. "Grandpa." She ran to him. His lips were blue. No breath fogged the air. Sarah was already there, fingers on his neck, checking for pulse. "He's alive. Barely. Paramedic." The helicopter had landed. 2 paramedics rushed over with a stretcher and medical kit. One started chest compressions. The other prepared an oxygen mask. Massive MI. The first paramedic said, "No pulse. Starting CP." Emma watched them work, watched them press on Nathan's chest, watched them shock him with paddles, watched his body jerk. Nothing. They shocked him again. Still nothing. "Come on," the paramedic muttered. "Come on, old man." Emma's vision blurred. Not again. She couldn't lose another person, couldn't bury another family member, couldn't stand at another grave saying goodbye. "Please," she whispered, "please don't leave me." Ghost pressed against her side, whining. Marcus stood behind her, hand on her shoulder. "He's tough. Marines don't quit." The paramedics shocked Nathan a 3rd time. A beep, faint, irregular, but a heartbeat. "Gotta him." The paramedic exhaled hard. "Pulse is weak but steady. Let's move." They loaded Nathan onto the stretcher, carried him to the helicopter. Emma tried to follow. "No room, miss," the paramedic said. Not unkindly. "He's too unstable. We need space to work. He's my grandfather." "I know, sweetheart. We'll take good care of him. Marshal Chen will bring you to the hospital." The helicopter lifted off. Emma watched it disappear into the gray sky, taking Nathan away, taking another person she loved away from her. Sarah put an arm around Emma's shoulders. "Come on, honey. My truck's at my house. We'll get you to Glacier Ridge Medical Center." The drive took 90 minutes through mountain roads. Emma sat in back with Ghost, Marcus in front, getting his leg bandaged by Sarah. Nobody spoke. The radio crackled with police chatter. Cole and his men in custody. Charges being filed, evidence being collected. None of it mattered to Emma. Only Nathan mattered. At the hospital, they were directed to the surgical waiting room. Nathan had been rushed into emergency surgery, 8 hours minimum. The nurse said, Emma could wait here 8 hours. Emma sat in a plastic chair, Ghost at her feet. Hospital policy said no animals. But Sarah flashed her badge, and suddenly policy didn't matter. Marcus sat across from her, his leg professionally bandaged now. Sarah disappeared to give statements to state police. Emma stared at the wall, didn't eat when Marcus brought food, didn't drink when he offered water, just stared and waited. Hours crawled past. 4 hours, 5, 6, at 7 hours. Emma finally broke. The tears came hard and ugly, not quiet, crying loud, heaving sobs that shook her whole body. All the grief she'd held in for 2 years came flooding out. Her mother dying slowly, her father dying suddenly. Now Nathan dying despite everything. Everyone dies. Emma screamed through tears. Mommy died. Daddy died. Now Grandpa's dying. Everyone I love dies. Marcus moved beside her, held her. She fought him at first, then collapsed into his arms. Why does everyone leave me? Emma sobbed into his shoulder. What's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you, Marcus said, his own voice breaking. Nothing at all. Then why do they all die? Because life is cruel sometimes, because bad things happen to good people, because the world isn't fair. Marcus held her tighter. But not everyone leaves. Emma, I'm still here. Sarah's still here. Ghost is still here. You'll leave too. Everyone does. No. Marcus pulled back, looked her in the eyes. I lost my chance to know David. Lost my chance to be his brother. I won't lose my chance to be your uncle. I promise you. Emma, I'm not going anywhere. Ghost whined, laid his head in Emma's lap. Sarah returned with coffee. Police are handling everything. Cole and his men are facing federal charges. Murder, conspiracy, racketeering. They'll never see freedom again. Emma didn't care about Cole, didn't care about justice, only cared that Nathan lived. At hour 8, a doctor emerged. Patricia Winters, 50-something, tired eyes, but kind face, family of Nathan Whitfield. Emma jumped up. Is he alive? He's alive. The surgery went well. We repaired the damage, installed a pacemaker. But, that word, but, Emma's heart sank. The damage to his heart was severe. He's lost about 40% of function. He'll need a second surgery, triple bypass, within the next 6 months for him to have any quality of life. But he'll live, Emma asked. With the bypass, he could live another 10, 15 years. Without it, Dr. Winters hesitated. Maybe 3 months. Then do the bypass. It's expensive. The pacemaker surgery today was emergency insurance covers that, but the bypass is considered elective. His Medicare will cover 80%. The remaining 20% is, how much? Marcus asked. $36,000. Silence. Emma's world tilted. $36,000. She had $42 in her piggy bank. Nathan had $94 in his bank account. They were poor, desperately poor. They couldn't afford groceries half the time. I can work, Emma said desperately. I can clean houses. I can babysit. I can... Emma, honey, Winters said gently. You're 8 years old, but I have to help. He's all I have. Marcus stood. I have $8,000 saved. It's yours. Emma looked at him, tears streaming. That's not enough. It's a start. Marcus's face was grim. We'll find the rest, somehow. Winters looked pained. I'm sorry. Without payment arrangements, we can't schedule the surgery, and it needs to happen soon within 6 weeks, or his heart will deteriorate too much. 6 weeks to find $28,000. Impossible. Emma felt the world crushing her. They'd survived Cole, survived the attack, survived the blizzard, only to lose Nathan because of money. Can I see him? Emma asked, voice hollow. He's in recovery, unconscious, but you can sit with him. Winters led Emma to Nathan's room. He lay in a hospital bed, tubes and wires connecting him to machines. His face was gray, his breathing assisted by oxygen. He looked old and fragile and broken. Emma climbed into the chair beside his bed, took his hand. Ghost laid down next to the chair. "You have to live," Emma whispered. "Please." "Grandpa, I know it's expensive. I know we're poor, but you have to live. I can't do this alone." Nathan's hand was warm, but didn't squeeze back. Emma laid her head on the edge of his bed and cried until she had no tears left. Later, in the hospital chapel, Emma knelt alone. She wasn't particularly religious. Her mother had been. Her father hadn't. But she was desperate. "God," she whispered to the empty room, "if you're there, if you're listening, I need help. I need Grandpa to live. I know I don't pray much. I know I don't go to church. But please," her voice cracked, "I'll trade. Take me instead. I'm young and he's old, but he's good, better than me. He deserves to live." Emma's hands clasped tight. "Please don't take him. I can't lose anyone else. I can't." Ghost pressed against her leg. "Please," Emma breathed. "Please." Silence answered, cold, empty, uncaring. Emma stood, walked back to Nathan's room, and sat by his bedside. She would sit there all night, every night, until either Nathan woke up or $36,000 materialized from thin air. Neither seemed likely. 18 hours after Nathan's surgery, a hospital administrator found Emma sleeping in the chair beside his bed. Ghost on the floor, Marcus dozing in the corner, Miss Whitfield. The administrator touched Emma's shoulder gently. "There's someone here to see you." Emma blinked awake, disoriented. "Nathan, is he? Your grandfather is stable. This is about something else. Please, come with me." Emma followed reluctantly, Ghost at her heels. They were led to a private consultation room. Inside sat an elderly man in a wheelchair, early 70s. Kind eyes, expensive suit. Something about his face seemed familiar. "Emma Whitfield." The man extended his hand. "My name is just Robert Chen, Sarah's husband." Emma stared at. "Sarah said you were dead. Legally, I was witness protection." Robert gestured to a chair. "Please sit. We have much to discuss." Emma sat slowly, Ghost pressing against her leg. "What do you want?" "To help you, and to tell you the truth about some things." Robert wheeled closer. "First, the help. I understand Nathan needs a bypass surgery. $36,000. We don't have it. I do." Robert pulled out a checkbook. "I want to pay for his surgery. All of it." Emma's breath caught. "Why?" "Because 50 years ago, when my wife Sarah had breast cancer, we were poor, couldn't afford treatment. A stranger, a businessman named Thomas Whitfield, paid for everything, never asked for repayment, never wanted recognition, just said, 'Pay it forward when you can.'" Emma's eyes widened. "Thomas Whitfield was my great-grandfather." "I know. When Sarah told me about you and Nathan, I knew this was my chance to keep that promise." Robert wrote the check, handed it to Emma. Yeah, $36,000. Consider it a gift. No repayment expected." Emma stared at the check. It didn't feel real. "What do you want in return?" "Nothing, except maybe for you to remember that kindness exists, that good people still do good things." "But this is so much money. I have $2 million from witness protection stipend. No children, no family except Sarah. What good is money if you can't save a life. Robert smiled. Your great-grandfather saved my wife. Let me save your grandfather. Emma's hands trembled. I don't know what to say. Say yes. Let us help. Yes, Emma whispered, then louder. Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much. Robert squeezed her hand. Now, the truth part about your father, about Ghost, about what really happened. Over the next 30 minutes, Robert explained everything. He'd been lead veterinarian at Apex Biotech, hired to breed wolf-dog hybrids for private security. He'd discovered the company was also involved in illegal hunting, poaching, and murder. He'd tried to expose them, became a whistleblower, entered witness protection. David Whitfield had been investigating the same operation. They'd communicated, shared evidence. Robert was supposed to testify alongside David. Then David died. Your father saved Ghost, Robert said. The wolf was being transported for breeding when he escaped. David found him, hid him, trained him specifically to protect you. Why me? Because David knew Cole would come after him eventually. He wanted to make sure you had a guardian if something happened. Robert's voice softened. Ghost isn't just a wolf, Emma. He's been trained in protection, tracking, and search and rescue. Your father spent months working with him. Emma looked at Ghost. So everything he did finding Marcus, protecting me, that was training, partly, but not entirely. I'll explain more when your grandfather wakes up. He should hear this too. 4 hours later, Nathan's eyes opened. Emma was at his bedside instantly. Grandpa! Nathan's voice was weak, hoarse. Emma, are you safe? I'm safe. Cole's in custody. Everyone's safe. And Ghost, right here. Emma gestured to the wolf, lying by the window. Nathan tried to sit up, winced. How the surgery? We couldn't afford. Emma showed him the check stub. To Robert Chen, Sarah's husband. He paid for everything. Nathan stared at the paper. Tears filled his eyes. Thomas, he whispered, your great-grandfather. He's still saving us? What do you mean? Thomas paid for Robert's wife's cancer treatment 50 years ago. Robert just told us. Emma squeezed Nathan's hand. Kindness came back around. Nathan wept silently, overwhelmed. Emma climbed carefully onto the bed, laid beside him. They held each other while machines beeped steadily. After a moment, Nathan spoke. Emma, there's something I need to tell you before you hear it from someone else. Emma tensed. What? You're adopted. Not by me, by David and Grace. Nathan's voice cracked. Grace's younger sister, Emily, was your biological mother. She was troubled, drug addiction. She abandoned you when you were 18 months old. David and Grace took you in, adopted you legally when you were 2. Emily died of an overdose about a year later. Emma lay very still, processing. Did they love me more than life itself? Did you love me, or did you just feel obligated because of David? Nathan turned his head to look at her directly. I love you because you're you, not because you're David's daughter, not because of blood or obligation, because you're brave and smart and because spending these months with you has been the greatest honor of my life. Emma's eyes filled. Really? Really? You're my granddaughter, Emma Rose Whitfield, by choice, and choice is stronger than blood. Emma thought about this, about her mother Grace, who'd raised her even though they didn't share DNA, about her father David, who'd protected her even after death, about Nathan, who'd chosen to love her, about Marcus, who'd betrayed his own father to save his niece. "Mommy used to say family isn't about blood," Emma said finally. "It's about who shows up. You showed up. Grandpa, that makes you my real grandfather." Nathan pulled her closer. "You're wiser than your years, little one." They lay together until Robert and Sarah entered. Robert examined Nathan thoroughly, then asked permission to look at Ghost. Emma nodded. Robert approached the wolf slowly, professionally. Ghost allowed it, sat calmly, while Robert checked his teeth, paused, examined old scars. "He's definitely a hybrid," Robert confirmed. "About 75% wolf, 25% Belgian Malinois. Bred for specific traits: intelligence, loyalty, protective instincts, trainability." "Is he dangerous?" Emma asked. "To threats, yes. To you, never." Robert found something behind Ghost's ear, a small scar. "He had a tracking chip here. Your father removed it before he died." "Why?" "So the company couldn't find Ghost, couldn't take him back." Robert sat in a chair. "Ghost was trained extensively. Protection protocols, search and rescue techniques, attack commands. Your father added additional training specific to you, your scent, your voice, your safety." Emma's voice was small. "So Ghost doesn't really love me?" "It's just programming," Robert smiled. "Emma, I trained these animals for years. Training teaches them to protect. But love—" He shook his head. "Love is choice. Ghost could have left you dozens of times. No shock collar, no leash, no one forcing him to stay. But he chose you." "How do you know?" "Because when Marcus was bleeding and needed help, Ghost didn't go to the nearest human. He went to Marcus, specifically the one person who could save both you and Nathan. That's not training. That's understanding. That's caring." Robert gestured to Ghost, who sat with his head on Emma's knee. "Training teaches behavior. Love teaches sacrifice. Ghost chose to sacrifice himself to save you from Cole. That wasn't programming. That was love." Emma looked at Ghost. The wolf looked back with those intelligent yellow eyes. "You really chose me," Emma whispered. Ghost's tail wagged once, deliberately. Emma buried her face in white fur and cried, but this time from relief, not grief. She'd lost so much, but she'd also gained something precious, a family that chose each other. 3 months passed like pages turning in a book Emma had been too afraid to read. Nathan recovered slowly but completely. The bypass surgery went perfectly. The pacemaker regulated his heart rhythm. Physical therapy rebuilt his strength. By April, he could walk 2 miles without stopping, chop wood without gasping, laugh without pain. He was different now, softer. Near death had changed him. He hugged Emma every morning, said "I love you" before bed, showed affection openly, freely, without the military stiffness that had defined him before. Emma transformed too. She talked regularly now, no more selective mutism. She laughed, really laughed at Marcus's terrible jokes. She attended school for the first time since her parents died, made friends, brought home drawings to hang on the cabin's refrigerator. The nightmares still came sometimes, but less frequently. And when they did, Ghost was there, warm and solid and real. Ghost had become something of a local celebrity. The hospital used him as a therapy animal for PTSD patients. Schools invited him for educational programs about wildlife conservation. And the bond between humans and animals. Children who feared dogs learned to trust by meeting the gentle giant who'd saved a little girl. Financial security came from unexpected sources. Robert Chen established a $500,000 trust fund for Emma's education. A lawsuit against Apex Biotech resulted in a $15 million settlement split between Nathan and Emma. Community fundraisers collected $45,000 to repair the cabin. For the first time in years, Nathan didn't count pennies, didn't skip meals, didn't choose between medicine and food. Justice was served cold and absolute. Cole Brennan received life in prison without parole for murder, conspiracy, and racketeering. Garrett Hayes got 25 years. The others received various sentences. Apex Biotech was dismantled, its executives prosecuted, its illegal operations permanently shut down. Marcus Webb served 18 months in minimum security for his past crimes, released early for cooperation and testimony that sealed Cole's conviction. He moved into the cabin's guest room, worked as a hunting guide alongside Nathan, built a relationship with his niece one day at a time. Emma called him Uncle Marcus now. He called her his favorite niece. She was his only niece, but the sentiment was real. Sarah and Robert Chen emerged from a witness protection, bought a house 1 mile from the cabin, became surrogate grandparents. Sunday dinners at their place became tradition roast chicken, terrible jokes, laughter that filled empty spaces grief had carved 1 year after the attack. Emma Rose Whitfield, now 9 years old, walked through the Montana forest with Ghost, Nathan, and Marcus. They were checking trap lines for a wildlife conservation project, catch and release monitoring of local animal populations. The snow fell softly, same as it had that day Emma found Ghost dying, but everything else had changed. Emma found the injured fox first red fur against white snow, hind leg caught in an old snare some poacher had abandoned. "Can we help it?" Emma asked. Nathan smiled. "What do you think?" "We help. That's what family does." They worked together, Nathan holding the fox steady, Marcus cutting the snare carefully, Emma bandaging the leg with supplies from her pack. Ghost watched calmly, no longer seeing prey, only another creature needing protection. When the fox limped away into the trees, Emma looked at her family grandfather by choice, uncle by redemption, wolf by loyalty. "Family isn't who you're born to," she said quietly. "It's who you choose and who chooses you back." Nathan put his arm around her shoulders. "Wise words, little one." They walked home together through falling snow, footprints marking their path until the storm covered them, leaving only forward direction visible. Only tomorrow mattered now. Only love remained. This story is for everyone who ever felt invisible, forgotten, or wondered if kindness still exists in this world. Nathan Whitfield was 68 years old, living on $800 a month, choosing between medicine and food so a little girl could eat. He wasn't her blood grandfather, but he showed up every single day. That's what real family does. How many of us have been told we're too old, too tired, too late to make a difference? Nathan proved that wrong. He proved that showing up matters more than sharing DNA, that sacrifice speaks louder than words, and that second chances can come at any age. This story reminds us that it's never too late to be someone's hero, never too late to choose love over convenience, never too late to build the family we need. Thomas Whitfield's kindness 50 years ago saved Sarah's life, which created a ripple that saved Nathan and Emma generations later. Your kindness today might save someone tomorrow. Have you ever been someone's Nathan choosing to show up when you didn't have to? Or has someone shown up for you? When Blood Family didn't share your story, in the comments below. Let's remind each other that we're not alone